She invited 20 people to my apartment for a party while I was out of town, then charged them $50 each entry fee. When I got home to the mess, she said, "I made us $1,000. You're welcome. I didn't clean up, just changed the locks while she was at work." 3 days later, she's now sleeping in her car. This happened 2 weeks ago, and I'm still processing the audacity. I work construction management, good job with decent pay, but weird hours and occasional travel. My girlfriend Becky and I have been dating for 2 years. She moved in about 8 months ago when her lease ended. We have a written agreement that she pays $300 per month toward utilities and household expenses, but the condo is in my name since I bought it before we met. 3 weeks ago, I had to travel out of state for a job site inspection that had gone sideways. We were looking at a 5-day trip minimum. Becky wasn't thrilled about me being gone that long, but seemed to accept it when I reminded her this is how I afford our lifestyle. I left Monday morning. The first couple of days were normal. I'd call her in the evenings, she'd tell me about her day at the boutique where she works. Everything seemed fine. Then, Wednesday night, she started acting weird on our call. Distracted, kept muting the phone, giggling. I figured she was just watching TV while talking to me, so I let it go. Thursday night, I couldn't reach her at all. Friday morning, still nothing. I was getting a bit worried, so I called her best friend Jenny. "Oh, she's fine," Jenny said, sounding surprised I was asking. "She was pretty busy with the party last night." "The party?" "Yeah, at your place. Didn't she tell you?" My stomach dropped. "No, she didn't mention a party." "Oh." Jenny sounded uncomfortable now. "Well, it was just a few friends, I'm sure." I finally got hold of Becky that afternoon. When I asked about the party, she laughed it off. "It was just a small get-together. Don't be so uptight." "Who was there?" "Just some friends, and friends of friends. It's not a big deal." Something in her tone made me suspicious, but I had to focus on finishing the job. We got things under control by Sunday, and I caught a flight home that evening. Walking into my condo that night was like entering a war zone. The place reeked of alcohol and weed, red cups everywhere, spilled drinks on the couch, food ground into the carpet. My coffee table was broken. Someone had puked in the kitchen sink, and there were cigarette burns on my new leather recliner, the one thing I'd splurged on for myself last year. Even worse, several framed photos of my family were missing from the walls. I found Becky in the bedroom, scrolling on her phone like nothing was wrong. There were empty beer bottles on the nightstand and clothes scattered everywhere. It was clear she hadn't made any effort to clean up since the party 3 days ago. "You're home," she said, looking up briefly before returning to her phone. "How was the flight?" "What happened here?" I asked, still trying to process the destruction. "Oh, the party was amazing. So many people showed up. And guess what?" She put down her phone and pulled out a wad of cash from her purse. "I made us $1,000. "What?" "Yeah, I charged a $50 cover. Since it's such a nice place and we had top-shelf liquor. Your whiskey collection was a big hit, by the way." "My whiskey collection?" "The one with bottles I'd been saving for years, some gifts from my late grandfather." "You charged people to come to a party in my home and served my whiskey?" "Don't be like that. I made us money." She fanned out the bills. $1,000. "You're welcome." That's when I noticed something on her wrist, a brand new Apple Watch, and she was wearing new shoes I hadn't seen before. "What happened to the money?" I asked, already guessing the answer. "Well, I had to replace my watch after mine broke last month. It was on sale for $399, and I got these shoes for $180. But there's still like $400 left. We can use it to replace anything that got damaged." I looked around again. $400 wouldn't even cover cleaning the carpet, let alone replacing my recliner or coffee table. "How many people were here?" "I don't know, like 20 or so. So you made $1,000, spent $600 on yourself, and left me with hundreds, maybe thousands in damages?" She rolled her eyes. "You're being so dramatic, it's just stuff, and I deserved a treat for organizing everything." I was too tired from traveling to argue. I just said I needed sleep and went to bed on the couch. The bed was unmade and smelled like someone else's cologne. The next morning, Becky left for work, as if nothing had happened. I took the day off and documented all the damage with photos and videos. I even found some social media posts from party attendees showing the state of my place during the event. Then I called my landlord to give him a heads up about potential noise complaints from neighbors. After that, I contacted a lawyer friend for advice. She's definitely established tenancy by living there for 8 months, even with your informal arrangement, he told me. You can't just change the locks. You'd need to give proper notice according to state law. How long is that? In this state, 30 days written notice. Then if she doesn't leave, you'd need to file for formal eviction. What if she damaged my property? Document everything. You can sue her for damages in small claims court, but that doesn't change the eviction timeline. I hung up, frustrated but glad I'd checked before doing anything rash. Then I called a cleaning service for an estimate to fix the mess. They quoted $550 for a deep clean, not including any repairs. Becky called around lunchtime, all cheerful. Hey babe, wanna grab dinner tonight? I'm thinking that Italian place you like. No thanks, I'm still dealing with the aftermath of your party. Still upset about that? Come on, it was fun. You never want to have people over. The place needed some life. We need to talk when you get home. When she arrived that evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table with printed photos of all the damage, a detailed list of missing or broken items, and a letter I'd drafted. What's all this? She asked, dropping her purse. This is a formal 30-day notice to vacate the premises, I said, pushing the letter toward her. And this is documentation of the damage from your party. Her face fell. You're kicking me out? Over one party? You charged people to enter my home without permission, served my personal alcohol collection, allowed them to damage my property, and then spent most of the money on yourself instead of cleaning up. Yes, I'm asking you to move out. You can't do this. I live here. I have rights. You do have rights. That's why I'm giving you proper notice according to state law. You have 30 days to find a new place. She started crying. Where am I supposed to go? I can't afford my own place in this area. That's not my problem. You have 30 days to figure it out. In the meantime, I expect you to clean up the mess from your party. It was one party where you charged people to enter my home, served my alcohol, allowed them to damage my property, and then spent the money on yourself. She stormed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. I could hear her crying dramatically, but I didn't follow. I'd made my decision. The next morning, she emerged as if nothing had happened, ready for work. I handed her a copy of the notice to vacate. I was emotional last night, she said. You don't really want me to move out? Yes, I do. This relationship is over. Over one mistake? It wasn't just a mistake. It showed complete disregard for me, my home, and my belongings, and you still don't think you did anything wrong. She left for work, slamming the door. When I got home that evening, I found she'd taken her new Apple Watch and some clothes, but nothing else. She didn't come back that night. The next day, I got a call from her mom. I've always liked her mom. She's a practical, no-nonsense woman who raised 3 kids on her own. Rebecca told me what happened, she said. I wanted to hear your side. I explained everything. The unauthorized party, the cover charge, the damaged property, the spent money. She sighed heavily. Where is she now? I'm not sure. She didn't come home last night. She told me you kicked her out immediately. No, I gave her proper 30-day notice. She chose to leave on her own. Another sigh. Did she really charge people to come to a party at your place? Yes, and spent most of the money on herself instead of cleaning up or repairing damages. There's no excuse for that. I raised her better. She paused. I'll call her and tell her she can stay with me until she sorts herself out. I thanked her and hung up, feeling relieved that at least Becky would have somewhere to go. 3 days after I gave her notice, Becky showed up with her mom to collect more of her things. She'd clearly been staying at her mom's place. As they packed up most of her clothes and personal items, Becky refused to look at me, but her mom pulled me aside. I want you to know I understand why you're doing this. Rebecca needs to learn there are consequences for her actions. I nodded, appreciating her support. When they were about to leave, Becky finally spoke to me directly. I lost my Apple Watch. Someone stole it at work. Happy now? Her mom shot her a disapproving look. Rebecca, that's enough. As they left, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The drama wasn't over, but at least I'd handled things legally. The next week was surprisingly peaceful. Becky texted occasionally asking when she could get the rest of her things, and I arranged times when I'd be home. Each time she came, she brought her mom or a friend, and the process was civil if tense. 2 weeks after giving her notice, I received an email. I found an apartment with my friend Taylor. I'll be out of your place completely by the 25th, which is before your 30-day deadline. I hope you're happy. You've ruined my life over one mistake. Everyone thinks I'm a loser now. My watch is gone. I had to sell my new shoes for $90, and now I'm going to be living in a dump with a roommate. I can't believe you would do this to me after 2 years together. I thought you loved me. I responded simply, I'll be home all day on the 25th. Let me know what time you plan to collect your remaining belongings. On the appointed day, Becky arrived with a small U-Haul and her friend Taylor. I stayed out of their way as they removed the last of her furniture in boxes. When they were finished, Becky handed me her key. The place is a mess, she said bitterly. I didn't have time to clean with everything else going on. I expected that, I replied. The apartment was still in disarray from the party, with only minimal cleanup done. I'd already scheduled professional cleaners for the next day. Taylor hung back after Becky went to the truck. Just so you know, she's been telling everyone you illegally evicted her and threw her stuff on the street, she said quietly. I only know the truth because her mom set me straight. Thanks for telling me, I replied. I'm not surprised. After they left, I walked around my now empty condo, assessing the damage. The aftermath was going to be expensive. I'd need to replace the coffee table and recliner, hire professional cleaners, and repair several small holes in the walls. The $400 Becky had left from her party profits was nowhere to be found. She'd taken that too. The next few weeks were busy with repairs and replacements. I'd filed a claim with my renter's insurance, but they only covered part of the damages after the deductible. I also filed a case in small claims court against Becky for the damages and stolen property, including my missing family photos and whiskey collection. When she was served with the court papers, the text started again. Are you kidding me? You're suing me now? Haven't you done enough damage to my life? I can't believe you're being so petty. I didn't respond to any of them, just prepared my evidence for court. A month after she moved out, I ran into Jenny at the grocery store. She told me Becky was still living with Taylor in a small apartment across town, working extra shifts to make rent. She also mentioned that Becky had been complaining about having to sell her barely used $400 Apple Watch for only $150 to help pay the security deposit. The small claims case was heard last week. I brought all my documentation, photos of the damage, videos of the state of the condo, screenshots of social media posts from the party, receipts for repairs and replacements, and a detailed list of missing items. Becky showed up with her mom, looking nervous and unprepared. When the judge asked for her side of the story, she claimed it was just a small get-together that got out of hand, and that I was exaggerating the damages. She also insisted she'd already paid for repairs with the party money. What party money? The judge asked. Well, I did charge people to come, but that was to cover any damages. And what happened to that money? She hesitated. I used some of it to replace my broken watch. The judge looked unimpressed. When all was said and done, I was awarded $2,150 in damages, which included the cost of repairs, replacements, and the missing items. Becky looked shell-shocked as the judgment was read. Outside the courthouse, her mom approached me. I'm sorry it had to come to this, she said. I tried to get her to settle with you before court. I appreciate that, I told her. I didn't want this either. She'll pay you. I'll make sure of it, she promised before following her daughter to the car. I couldn't help but smile at the irony. Party profits gone, nice watch gone, decent living situation gone, now owing more than double what she'd made from the party. All because she thought charging an entry fee to trash my place was a good idea. Sometimes the best revenge isn't changing locks or throwing someone out on the street. It's following proper legal procedures and letting the system work as intended. And documenting everything, of course.